Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us here at FinTech Live New York today. Time for our next keynote, and this is Making Retirement Human. My guest is Aynsley TooleVice President, CPO Product Management at ADP. Aynsley, how are you?
Great, thanks. Great to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. This was a subject I thought sounded absolutely fascinating, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing how we're going to do this. The virtual floor is yours, and I'll be back with some questions at the end.
Awesome, thanks so much. All right, so I am going to talk today a little bit about making retirement human. So as I was introduced, I am the VP of Product Management of the retirement business at ADP. And I thought it made sense to just give you a little sense of who we are at ADP. You may know us from payroll, but we also do quite a lot of retirement services. We offer direct and in-house sales, so we also sell through financial advisors. And the majority of our clients are in the small business realm, but we do service quite a number of medium to large size clients as well. And the value prop that we really bring is being part of the ADP ecosystem so that everything that goes on in payroll can seamlessly flow into your retirement business. And we take all the deductions. We also provide personalized insights because we are ADP. We have a ton of data and we're able to tell your employees a little bit more about their savings and how it looks and compared to others. And I'll go into that a little bit more. But we also offer unparalleled flexibility. We have 18,000 funds on our platform. And as always, when you think of ADP, we are really committed to security. So that's a little bit about ADP Retirement Services. When you think about ADP, you can sort of think of us really touching all the areas of work. So from the beginning of recruiting and screening through compensation, performance management, and then all the way into retirement benefits. And when people start to leave the workforce, how are they prepared for that change in their lifetime? So in order to talk about why we need to make retirement human, I thought it made sense to go into some of the trends and the landscape of retirement and how it's changing. So right now we have a growing number of retirees in the United States. We have the baby boomer generation moving into the retirement phases. And in fact, in the last 5 years, over 19 million US workers have retired. And this trend is visible throughout the world. So we're really seeing just a lot more people moving into that stage of their life. At the same time, we know that people are living longer, and so they're spending more years in retirement, which means that after you saved a certain amount, that now has to go on and last you for even longer. And so this is a real dynamic that's a lot of people are facing about how long they're going to have to spend in retirement, how many years, and how much, whether their savings is really going to match the number of years that they need and want to be retired for. At the same time, at least in the US, we have shifting pension landscapes. So knowing that you work at a company for your entire life and have a pension and know exactly what you're going to get after you've retired is really not a reality for most people these days. In fact, they've got to think about saving every year. It's more of a 401k program to find contributions and just leaves a little bit more up to chance in that sense. Another big trend in retirement is the greater role of technology. So I'll talk a little bit more about these trends coming up, but at the same time, there's been a lot of financial technology that has been driving growth in retirement in the last few years and has enabled over 110 robo-advisors to be launched in the last 5 years. At the same time, we're seeing a number of financial instruments that are now at play in retirement, which really just is a wonderful thing for people to have a lot of options like CITs, ETFs, model portfolios, but at the same time, it can become overwhelming for people as they think about retirement. We're already asking them to set part of their paycheck aside and plan for something that may be decades out, and now having to deal with many different financial instruments just tends to make the entire landscape that much more complicated. And the final trend is around the changing nature of work and the rise of the gig economy, which has led to a lot of people being less prepared because this part of the economy, contract workers, aren't necessarily, or traditionally, pardon me, included in the 401k landscape, which means more people being less prepared for retirement. And what can we do to help these people? In fact, the big trend that we're seeing that overarches all of this is people just not really being ready for retirement. And I think there's a couple things driving that. One, as I mentioned, there's been a lot of technological advances, a lot of advances from the financial engineering side of the house that really makes it confusing for people to know what they should be investing in, how much they should be investing, and they're really looking for someone to help guide them through this. In fact, we did a recent survey at ADP and we found the majority of people surveyed, up to 4 in 10, say they feel overwhelmed, anxious, or fearful about their retirement. And over 60% of them had less than $100,000 saved, ready for retirement. So there is definitely a gap that we see in the United States around how much people need to retire and how many of them are actually ready to retire. And so this all just underscores the importance of having a retirement application that is user-friendly and intuitive that really helps guide people to prepare for their retirement. So if I'm moving right along, I'm just going to go right into why does consumer experience matter in retirement? So it matters because people need to save and be ready for retirement. It's just basic fundamental part of life that we want everyone to be ready to retire at that time in life. But from a product point of view, it really leads to better engagement and retention. And better UX leads to higher engagement, which leads to more savings, which is great. Again, our goal at ADP Retirement Services is to help people be ready to retire. So we love seeing their savings goes up. And also, the more positive experience that they have, the more loyal they are. So at ADP, we obviously service the companies that want to offer retirement benefits to their employees. And the happier their employees are, the more happier they are with us, makes us happy to have a good product. At the same time, it helps drive trust and confidence. So something that someone can understand really leads you to be able to use it on a more active basis. And the financial information that we provide, the clearer we can make it, the more confidence we give people in saving for retirement. So on the right of this slide, I've shared a little bit of what we've been introducing in our product. One of the most important things people need to do in retirement is to name their beneficiaries, part of their family or their spouse. And so we recently launched an application that allows them to do it right from the app or our website, name the person, decide how much they want to give to each person that they want to give the retirement funds to should they pass away before they're able to use them. And it's been an overwhelming success that we've now eliminated a lot of forums, a lot of calls, a lot of frustrated people trying to intertwine with their company's retirement person and calling our call center. Now they can do it all from the app. And this is really helping engage our users. We've seen a ton of people who didn't have beneficiaries now log in, set it up, and be that much more prepared. And so, what are the key elements of a great consumer experience in retirement? Well, we like to measure this in a couple different ways. One, we like to have a user-friendly interface, and we do a lot of research, testing our designs, going over them with potential users, getting feedback, making sure that they can understand what they need to do. We also do a lot of work to make our designs accessible to all, both all ages and all levels of ableness. So if you need to use a screen reader, all of our applications are going to allow you to do that. They're also going to allow you to understand what's being said because we like to simplify our financial language, not make it overwhelming for people. We also like to personalize all of our assets. And I mentioned before the wealth of data that we have at ADP. We're really lucky from that regard because we're able to look across at a subsection of the population and draw insights that we can then add back to alert our clients and their employees of trends that we see and whether or not they're going to be ready for retirement. So how do we measure success? Well, I like to measure it a couple different ways. We do often poll our clients to find out how satisfied they are with our experience, and their employees, same thing. We also look at how much they enroll. So one of the biggest problems that we have is people are afraid to enroll in retirement. They're afraid of losing that bit of their paycheck every single month, and they want to hold on to it and manage their own money. But we know that this can lead to having a lot of people be unprepared for retirement. So we see make it easier for people to enroll, make it more enticing for people to enroll, make it less anxiety inducing for people to enroll. That's a great sign that we're building a really good product. We also look at deferral rates, which is how much people look to save. And I'm going to walk you through an example of how we help people understand the impact on their paycheck when they decide to defer more money. And finally, we look at retention. We like to keep clients, and if their employees are happy with the experience they're getting in retirement, then they're going to stay with us for a long time, which is obviously great for a product person. We always love to measure retention. And on the right, I'm showing you a little bit of our client-facing portal. Again, really streamlines, makes it easy for people to go and find different things on different applications. This actually lives right in the payroll application, which is another innovation that we've brought to the market, because we know that the people who are managing retirement benefits are often the ones doing payroll. So we've now integrated it into all of our payroll applications. So you never have to leave your payroll application. You can just go and manage a retirement plan straight from there. Okay, so what do we do to make our experiences personalized and easy to understand? This is a view of what what employees whose employers have the ADP Retirement Services plan see when they log into their retirement, or into their ADP app, I should say. They can go and look at their paychecks, they can do their time off, they can clock in, but they can also see their retirement. So again, part of the ADP ecosystem is just putting everything in one place, so it's really easy to find things. What we're doing here is what we call retirement readiness. So we actually ask people a number of questions, showing them what it takes to retire, and we give them a readiness score based on how much they want to have when they retire, the kind of life they want to live. We even take into account where they want to live, because we can account for different costs of living. And at the same time, we help guide them by showing them what people at similar ages in similar geographies with similar incomes are saving. So they have a sense of what they really should be putting away each month in order to be ready to retire. In fact, the employees can see how much they're going to have per month and how short they are, so that they can start thinking about how much more to save. And they can even think about, we can even show them on the right-hand side what a 1% increase in deferral will hit in terms of the bottom line, but how much closer that will get them to their retirement. So I love this application. Mostly, I love what it's doing for our employees that are in the plan, because we've actually seen that people who take this test increase their savings by 10%. And I think that really speaks to having something that's personalized, that's easy to understand, and doesn't overwhelm people, but makes it really clear why it's important to save for retirement. So again, if you have ADP Retirement Services, please go take the retirement readiness test and get a sense of whether you're going to be ready to retire. So how do we think about really creating these experiences, and where does it come from? Well, at ADP, we think about all of our experiences across all of our products as having 3 key elements. We want to make it easy, we want to make it smart, and we want to make it human. So easy means take the work out of it for me. Smart means tell me what to do and don't make me overthink it. And make it human means really drive it home, make it personalized to me, and take that sense of empathy that all great apps have and put it in my normal day-to-day working apps that I use with ADP every day. When we think about employee experience at ADP Retirement Services, this translates into a couple things for me. First of all, and make it easy, I want to make it understandable. There's so much complex financial language out there that we really need to be careful how we're positioning things for our employees who are in our retirement plans. It's already anxiety inducing enough. The more complicated we make it, the harder it is for people to feel comfortable that they're doing the right thing. We also want to make it convenient. So everything we do lives on mobile or desktop. It's in our app. Like I said, it's right where you see your paycheck. It's right where you punch in and punch out. It's all in the same place. In terms of making it smart, we really want to make it proactive. So providing nudges for users to take action. For example, if you log in and you haven't enrolled, but you're eligible to be in the retirement plan, we'll let you know that that's something that you might want to take some action on right from wherever you're in the app. We're also looking to leverage AI and machine learning and Gen AI wherever possible to help provide more education and make it easier for you to do things within our applications. Now, what do I mean by human? Really, for us in retirement, that revolves around a lot of making it personalized. So tailoring the recommendations to the individual so that, again, I mentioned being able to say someone like you is probably going to save this much for retirement. So if you have no idea, and if X million of dollars sounds crazy to think about from 20 or 30 years off, we'll let you know what other people are doing, and that can make it easier for you to make decisions about how much you should be saving. We also like to leverage mixed media and demos to teach people about retirement and what it takes to save and why they should be saving and what kinds of funds they can choose. And at the end of the day, we're all about helping people understand how they can meet their individual retirement goals. So again, for me, this is what I think about everything that we build. We want to make it easy, smart, and human. And that's probably, I'd say, the hardest part is really how do you take that empathy and put it into an application and make sure that you're really speaking to the concerns, the fears of your audience. So what are some challenges in delivering the superior consumer experience? Well, I mentioned already the complexity of financial information. Not only is it hard to simplify, but because we're a regulated entity, there's often words that we have to use and language that needs to be in there just so that we can stay compliant. And for this, I rely on my copywriters immensely. They're amazing people, and they do a great job making it as simple as possible and still keeping us compliant with the regulations. Also, you've got to think about technology integrations. I know a lot of users out there are using financial aggregator apps like Mint, and we want to make sure that we integrate with them to allow people to get their full financial picture wherever they are. And so on the right, I'm showing a picture of our plan dashboard, which allows people to bring in different aggregators, but it also allows them to look at all of their plans in one place and look at the health of that over time. So really simple and easy to understand experience. How do we keep this going? We use user research and get feedback on our designs before they launch, after they launch, and we are continuously seeking input from everybody that uses our sites. On the right, it's for our financial advisors. We got 82% of them gave it a 4 or 5 out of 5 rating. We're constantly looking for feedback. I love getting 4s and 5s, but I actually love getting 1s and 2s because then I can zero in on what they don't like and I can fix that to make it an even better experience. Some other trends to keep in mind when you're thinking about retirement is obviously Gen AI and machine learning. We can start thinking about predictive analytics for better financial planning. I think we're going to see the rise of a lot of chatbots and much better support, so people don't have to call but can answer some of the tough questions that they might even be afraid to ask an individual, even if they're on the other line of the phone. But also, and we're doing this at ADP Retirement Services, taking a more holistic approach to financial wellness. Retirement is one part of that, but every application where you're dealing with something around finances, you really want to help people think about financial wellness as a holistic approach to managing their finances, be it today's needs or tomorrow's needs, such as retirement. And eventually what we're really trying to do is just encourage positive financial behaviors, savings being a key one of those, both for present and for the future. So I'm going to continue on future state. We're looking to integrate a lot more analytics and make it easier for people to make choices around retirement, both our clients and our employees. You can see here, we're going to have integrated dashboards, richer benchmarking, so you can see how you're doing against other people and maybe even do your own personalized dashboards of what you want to see over time. So look for that to come. We're still working on bringing that to all of our employees, but I think it's going to be really interesting when it comes out. And overall, because I know I'm short on time, I'm going to end with the fact that consumer experience really, really matters in retirement. So please make it easy, make it smart, and make it human whenever you're thinking about this or any other application. So thank you so much for your time, and I'd love to take questions if we have them.
Aynsley, thank you very much indeed. I love to try and champion myself here as the consumer in the room, because I am the consumer using a lot of these products. And I'll tell you a little story briefly as I can, because I appreciate we're against time. Recently I was having to rummage through all different kinds of workplace pension pots for the benefit of my solicitor, which is a whole different story, which I'm not going to go into. But it was very interesting seeing all of these different companies and providers and looking at it from what you have just said there. Were they easy? Were they smart? Were they human? Some were easy but not smart. Not many of them were human, and I felt thoroughly bewildered by the end of it. Do you feel that the organisations that can hit those three things and make these, let's face it, for the layperson who isn't working in this sort of stuff every day, it's confusing. You don't have to deal with them very often. You want to forget about them until you've retired, often, half the time. Do you feel that's going to be the differential, the organisations that can present this kind of human face to this quite complicated stuff from the ones who can't? Do you think that'll be a differential?
Yes, I mean, that's absolutely, I think it's a differential. You know, at the end of the day, in this case, it's not necessarily the individuals that's choosing what they're getting, but they're having a huge influence on the companies that choose the retirement providers. And I think at the end of the day, you know, this holistic approach to financial wellness has just got to come through whatever apps you're using. And I hope at least the work that we're doing is striving to make it easier and more less anxiety inducing and honestly more fun to save for retirement, because it's a great part of life, and if it's not easy, people aren't going to do it.
Just to pick up on one final thing you said there, of course you love seeing the 4- and 5-star reviews, but I love what you said about actually wanting to see the 1- and 2-star reviews. Do you often look at those things, and you've got to be a harsh critic of yourself. You can look at a product and think, this is fantastic, everyone can use this is amazing. You almost want to find the person who can't use it and try and work out why. Is that why you enjoy those, seeing those so much? You know, obviously you want people to have a good experience, but you see it as an opportunity.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, I would love if everyone can use it seamlessly, but you're always going to have people who struggle, and in this complicated world of retirement, I love hearing what I can do to make things better, and then we go and fix that, and we kind of apply that lens, because now we're getting a really human interaction with someone who's struggling, and we can go in and try to fix that and make it easier. So it helps us always be better and continually improving.
Aynsley, thank you so much. It's given me a different perspective on things. Hopefully I'm not going to have to go through my workplace pensions again anytime soon. Not a great fun afternoon for that day. Aynsley, thank you so much for joining us here at FinTech Live New York.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the time.
Lovely. It's been a pleasure.